Guys, Dr. Braithwaite again at Race on the Base in Los Alamitos. Today we're going to talk about some static stretching. So static stretches are stretches you want to do after you're done exercising. And the big reason behind that is static stretches are exercises or stretches that are done without movement. Hence the name static. So no movement. And the whole purpose of a static stretch is you are maximizing the length of a muscle. And the reason you don't want to do these stretches before you work out is when you maximize the length of a muscle, it tells the brain that that's how far the muscle wants to function every time you're doing something. So if you're running and your muscles are used to maximizing themselves and you go to jump over a pothole or a puddle or something silly or even just a crack in the road and you lengthen that muscle just a little bit past that, you're going to pull it. You're going to tear it. Bottom line is you're going to get injured. So these are exercises you want to do after you're done working out. It helps to flush the muscle, it helps to repair the muscle and allow the muscle to heal. That is the point of static exercises. So today when we're talking about this, we're going to start at the bottom of the leg, we're going to work our way up. These are not the only way you can stretch these different parts of the body. It just gives you an idea of what you can do. For other ideas on how to stretch, if these stretches don't work well for you, we have tons of stretches on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, follow us, watch those videos. Whole point of our channel is to give you ideas, various different ideas on the same things that you can do to help yourself get in better shape, stay in better shape, and prevent injury. So the first muscle group we're going to talk about is the calf. The calf is made up of two muscles, the gastroc and the soleus. The gastroc is the bigger of the two muscles, and you can stretch here. You can also get a little hamstring. When you're stretching it, you want to do it with the leg straight and with a little bend in the knee. The bend in the knee takes the gastroc out of the equation and focuses on the soleus, which is the smaller of the two muscles in the calf. If that's too minimal of a stretch for you and you want a little bit deeper of a stretch, you can use a curb or something that you can kind of prop yourself up on and get a nice deep stretch, or even hang yourself off of kind of a little ledge and just kind of allow a nice little stretch to happen. Again, you want to do it with the leg straight and with the leg bent. My favorite way to stretch the calf is actually to get down, prop my hands up, tuck my toes, stick my glutes up in the air, and really focus on just one leg at a time. That is going to give you a nice hamstring stretch and calf stretch. So make sure you're targeting the stretch to the calf so that you're really getting the effect that you want to feel. Again, leg straight and a slight bend in the knee. So the next group of muscles we're going to talk about are going to be the quad and the hip flexor. So the quad is very easily stretched. Simply bring your ankle without falling over as close to your glute as you can get it to go. You're going to do it on both sides, and the further you bring that knee back and extend and kind of bow yourself, the deeper of stretch you're going to get. The hip flexor is a little bit different. My favorite way to stretch my hip flexor is to get down into a lunge. You're going to stay nice and square. Your shoulders are going to stay directly over your hips. You're going to shoot your pelvis straight forward. You're just trying to get a nice stretch in the front of the hip in the hip flexor. Phenomenal exercise to do after you're done running, mainly after you're done cycling as well, because when you're cycling, you're kind of crouched forward, the knees coming up, that hip flexor never gets a time to lengthen all the way out. Creates a lot of lower back pain when it gets tight, so it's a great exercise to do. The hamstrings are another great muscle to stretch after you're done working out. The hamstrings start in the back of the leg and come down behind the back of the knee. Hamstrings are oftenly stretched wrong. And the reason behind that is people typically stretch the hamstrings just one way. You should stretch the hamstrings in actually 3 different planes. And what I mean by that is bending over and touching your toes does one plane of the hamstrings. Opening the legs, coming down, gets the inner hamstring. Coming across gets the outer hamstring. But then you have to go to the other side just to make it even all around. So when you're stretching your hamstrings, you want to make sure you're doing it in multiple planes to get the entire muscle group as you go through. The next stretch is going to be for a piriformis muscle, or the figure 4 stretch. And it really targets your piriformis muscle. The piriformis muscle is very, very common to become an overuse injury for runners and for cyclists. When it gets tight, it puts direct compression over the sciatic nerve and can create secondary type sciatica, which is pain starting in the glute, traveling all the way down the leg into the foot. Sometimes it'll stop before the foot, but it very commonly goes all the way to the foot. The way you do this is you're going to lay flat on your back. You're going to cross one leg or the other over. You're going to take your hand and reach through the hole. The other hand's going to come around the back of the other leg. Head's going to relax down onto the ground, and you're simply going to bring the knee up as high as you can get it to go. You are going to feel a really nice stretch down the back outside of the hamstring into the glute. If you're feeling most of the stretch in the hamstring, that's okay. As the hamstring loosens up, you're going to get a lot of stretch starting to happen into the glute itself. Most of us have very tight hamstrings, and it's very common for our hamstrings to prevent a lot of that mobility for us. The next exercise we're going to get into is going to be something called ankle, knee, or AK battle. And that's a great glute stretch. It just globally stretches the glutes. And the glutes really do a lot of work as we're running and bounding and landing and different activities like that. So the way we're going to do this stretch is, again, just like the figure 4, we're going to lay down. Again, we're going to cross one leg over the other. The ankle is going to hook onto the knee, and the ankle is going to want to pull the knee the opposite direction. The knee wants to resist that ankle. You're starting at about 10%, so it's not a huge force, but at first there's going to be no movement. You're then going to allow the ankle to win, and you're going to bring the knee over toward the ground as far as you can get it to go. Only thing here is you don't want the opposite shoulder to lift. Then the knee is going to start to win and bring the ankle back to the opposite side, if you can, allowing the foot to drop all the way to the floor. This is going to be a much more pinpointed stretch to the glute itself, versus when the ankle's coming the other way, it's going to be a very broad stretch along the back of the glute into the lower back. Again, that exercise is called ankle knee battle, or AK battle. It's a phenomenal glute stretch to really keep the glutes nice and loose. So to recap, statically stretching after you're done running, we want to target the calves, we want to target the quads, the hamstrings, the piriformis, and the glutes. 5 stretches that are really going to target the entire lower body to prevent injuries from happening down the road. Prevention is key when you are working out. Doesn't mean you're never going to get injured, but it gives you the probability to prevent most injuries that happen to runners on a regular basis. Thank you so much for watching our video today, and have a great rest of your afternoon.